Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Paladins Esports. It's time for the summer premiere, and we're going to guide you with it. We're your sturdy captains for the day. My name is Evan Rayner, Rainday, and this is Hi-Rez Pretty Hair, Nick Keogh, at ease. Soldier, great job here. That was an Army and a Navy reference right there. Let's get started. We're going to have a lot of fun today. We've got Europe and North America to cover, so there's a fun-filled action of Paladins no matter what region you come from. But before we get into that, we've got some great promos happening in the realm if you're playing Paladins, which you probably are. The first one, Snapdragon Ying. She's on a discount.
Of course. This was one of the cooler skins, I think.
Ooh,
Came around the HRX time. She's one of those snappy-looking recolors there. We got a lot of cool reworks, especially new champion Ashe as well. Her recolors are really something special.
And if you're into front lines like Ashe, you might be into Barrack. He's got Stone Cut available. This is the newest Barrack skin, and this is a great one to grab. I got it. I actually loved it. And this looks really good on him in game, so you might want to check that out. And, of course, what everyone is so excited about, Nick, and I'm excited about, too. I've been grinding champions as a result of this, the Mastery skins. Here is exactly what you're going to get and how you're going to get it, Nick. But, basically, you get that black skin at level 10 and a lot of other stuff in between.
Yeah, we got the Cosmic Victor. They're available as well at 15. I have yet to get a single champion there.
Seriously?
And my Makoa,
I
think is my closest.
I haven't either. You're right.
Makoa at 14.
I want the Cosmic skin. Bomb King is at 14, and my 13 is Andro. I got Androx at 13, so I'm excited about that as well. But you guys aren't here to talk about that. Obsidian made Cosmic Victor, as cool as they look, it's time to get into the real cool stuff. That's the high level, the esports. Let's get into the schedule for today's action on the European side of things. It will be GankStars versus WASD Sports, followed up by GankStars, the doubleheader against Flashpoint. Then your favorites, crowd favorites here, D69. Playing against Flashpoint to round things out.
For those of you that may not know, GankStars is the team formerly known as 50 Shades of Snack, formerly known as Burrito, the Guy's Bird, Thiel, bonkar, SunCommander, and Laizy. You know them, you love them. They're just under a new name for now, but hopefully it won't really affect their play too much. They're excited to be with that new organization, the GankStars, making their way into top-level competitive Paladins.
And the thing is with GankStars, you never know if this is a fluke or if this is something that they've really turned the switch on. They have actually been second place for a while now after the Masters land, and they've suddenly overtaken and really are considered the favorite here in Europe.
And that's, I think, hitting their stride with their sub.
Yeah.
SunCommander, getting their sub situation figured out, right?
Yeah.
They had Lemonade for a while. Bonkar was a sub at HRX. Then they had Lemonade, who's now gone. SunCommander came back. And now they've been sitting on this roster. And that's what happens. When they were sitting on a roster before HRX, they were dominant. They weren't losing.
No, you're right. And that's consistency to its max. D69, though, being consistent doesn't mean that they've gotten wins. So we're going to see at the end of the day if they're able to sweep one up. This one, though, GankStars versus WASD, starting out on Frog Isle. This map is notorious for being one where you win quickly, and you sometimes demoralize the other team for feeling like they're in the set.
And this is a GankStars map. This is where they usually start all their sets. It's their strongest foot forward type of deal. They like to get that momentum early because, like you mentioned, it can be very demoralizing losing that, especially these games mean something. Every one of these games means a step closer towards DreamHack with every win that you get here. So GankStars, they're not looking to drop any games.
Well, let's head into the champion select and see what GankStars and WSD decide to bring into battle. It will be GankStars with the first pick, and Makoa selected at the top. This is unusual for this meta, but very typical of GankStars in particular.
Absolutely. Thiel, still synonymous with, even with the changes to Inara. He hasn't even always been that first guy to be on Inara. It's been Bonkar as well, stepping up just as often as not in that champion role. Thiel still liking the Makoa. It's been a staple of GankStar strategy for so long, and they're not looking to change that up.
Big fan here of the Ruckus Barrack. A lot of tankiness on the point. Going to be able to sustain through some of the damage, but the convergence scares me here. They've got Inara, they've got Saras. This means big damage. This means a ton of CC. This means a ton of displacement. GankStars draft looking pretty good in my eyes.
Yeah, definitely does. A little bit of an issue there, maybe with resilience, if the WSD want to go into that.
Yes.
Bomb King selected, taken away as well. So Drogo's still on the table for the GankStars in terms of blast damage if they want. Healers locked in. WSD leave that last spot open in their draft for a counter pick.
Now they've got the Drogos here.
Andro notably still open as well.
That's true, and he will be selected. GankStars, SunCommander. That's two things that go pretty synonymous with Androxus. So that flanker will be taken, but Kinessa taken in the face of an Androxus, saying, you want to flank me, buddy? Come on. I got a long-range weapon to deal with you.
Couple of ways it can work out. It is Fragile, so it was a little bit more open. Kanessa can at least position herself to where she will at least see SunCommander coming. She's not going to be taken entirely by surprise, I don't think, at any point during this game. It's just a matter of keeping her safe. Bomb King is a pretty good backline damage to try and do that. We'll have to see how that plays out. Bird will be on Saris for GankStars running Mortal Reach. Pluck for Thiel's Makoa. Bonkar will be on Anar running Mother's Grace as his legendary Worm Jets for Laizy's Drogos with a Wrecker, and Darkstalker for SunCommander's Androxus.
On the other side of things, WASD has Creatives running Accelerant Bomb King, Mutustiina on Eagle Eye, Kanessa, Unbelievable running Architectonic Spare, Kamkyer on the Aerial Assault Ruckus trying to stay in the sky, and Ripen Gourd Maldamba for Spunkki as he starts off with Kronos. And look at that McDreamy spray.
Love that spray. It's still one of the best ones here. Triple cauterized though. WASD, Kamkyer does take one Master Riding Bird, just going with the Haven. Just wants to stay safe in the back line. You know, one of the major stat lines we look at for support is just how few deaths can you get. A lot of times that's the best impact you can have on a game, is just staying alive and being there for your team.
Creative's trying to start things going, has the wall impeding any progress forward. He's going to use the Accelerant Legendary to jump into the back line, and already Bird is in trouble. Shadow travel to try and get away, but Laizy doesn't escape his fate. Kamkyer with a nice early kill. Going to give WASD the lead here.
And they don't press this too much. They don't get too aggressive here. You can see them just, you know, they get their pick and then they chill out. Frankly, I think they could have afforded to get a little bit more aggressive onto Bird specifically. He was going to be pretty low coming out of that Shadow travel. They're content with one pick though, 51% of the point before Laizy gets back. Now the contest will begin again.
That's a really good attempt at a fire spit, but misses it. Trying to get as much value as quickly as possible requires that Drogos to usually hit those mid-air fire spits while floating back down under cover. Sometimes doesn't go his way. Right now, SunCommander is still alive, and that is a problem for WASD. They've got to get him out of here.
Laizy's going to get the first pick here before going down. Unbelievable, actually. SunCommander missing a couple of shots there on the Bomb King, but all is well in love and war here. Bird going to clean up Kamkyer as well, and slowly GankStars are starting to turn this fight in their favor.
And this is the front line, I think, healer combination. We often talk about the core. That's the trio. That's the healer, the front line, who's going to be on the point, who's going to be sustaining that point. I just think Makoa and Inara and Saris right now are extremely valiant. 96%. WASD have to turn this around, but losing Spunkki this early pretty much guarantees that this point will not go their way.
Yeah, he just got a slow play at this point. No more sustain right now, but they do give up a pick, answering back with 3 of their own. GankStars in a great spot here. Kamkyer just a little bit of HP left to his name as we head into overtime.
Big thing to note here, Inara has charged her ultimate 15% faster than Laizy on Drogos, meaning that Bonkar, with that incredible aim, able to show off what this frontliner can do. When put in the best of hands, she can be a monster in the realm.
Yeah, she's receiving a little bit less focus as well. Laizy's struggling to get damage. She was the first blood, I think, in this game, picked off first, and just is going to be the recipient of a lot of pressure, as he is the one that GankStars are looking at to carry a lot of these team fights. Inara is going to be a footnote to that great wall here to keep Ruckus in the fight, but it's just not enough. Not enough cauterize online just yet.
Misses the fire spit yet again. Would have secured a kill. Now flies up with a salvo off of the stun there, but Barrett doesn't go down quite yet. Laizy cleans it up real nice and just sends him back to base. Kanessa and Spunkki forced to run away. SunCommander's pressure is just too consistent, and GankStars looking good.
Keeps Sun a little bit out of it. Mutustiina will actually get hooked and go down, and he's not been getting picked off a lot.
No.
He's been alive, but he's not really been having that much of an impact. Not a whole lot of frags coming through for this Kanessa just yet.
Now there's the mid-air fire spit we're looking for. Laizy gets healed up as well. Bird keeping a good eye onto his carry. Another mid-air fire spit. Unbelievable. Almost falling, but there's the dome shield. 20,000 healing, shielding, but will they be able to shield this Dragon Punch? Laizy smartly just avoids it as much as possible. Just keeps his life instead of
weird. That's a weird decision. It looked like he's changed his mind 3 times during that flight of that Dragon Punch. It looked like he was going for it. By the end of things, Mutustiina will take him down. Bonkar's still alive in the back line here. Very healthy as well. Convergence comes through from Bird, trying to find some follow. Mutustiina with the clean target prioritization.
Excellent snipe there. Very well placed. Still backing off to a great location, forcing them to come after him in the transporter right on time. Gets out of dodge. They're holding. WASD know that they've got to try and even this up. 2-0 lead is very hard to come back from.
Bonkar's still alive somehow. He's been without a healer now for close to a minute, I would imagine. Transporter comes out just to get the heal. I don't know how much longer Bonkar can stay alive. Tries to get the ult off. Won't. Will save it, and probably for the best.
Almost better.
GankStars gonna be able to hold on to that one as well. Just have 29 seconds to wait for Bonkar, which is plenty of time. And they will give this one more go. Only one ultimate to their name, though.
So much to be gained for GankStars as they move forward here. 77% still for Laizy. Almost charged up his ult because he regained 30% from actually missing it earlier. Inara has the seismic crash as well. This could be bad news for WASD as they begin their final approach here.
Trying to stay alive here. Winding up the seismic crash. Will come through in a decent spot to maybe try and stay alive here. Cauterized pressure is going to be able to keep him alive for a little bit longer here. He will eventually go down 2 picks the way. Finally answering back. Mutustiina does get one in the way of WASD.
Good salvo, though. Doesn't get a lot of damage, but the fire spit here could be huge. Gonna hit 2, and he finds 1. The spunkki goes down. This is what GankStars were looking for. The opening has been created. Laizy with another Dragon Punch just to seal the deal, and Creatives can't get there. That's a 2-0 lead, perfectly timed by GankStars.
That's what they kind of want. That's always what they're looking for on Frogile. They used a lot of ultimates. They only had Seismic Crash going into that last fight, but Laizy able to top off the Dragon Punch as well as get it off, this time landing it, fortunately. But that 2-0 does come through for GankStars. Cauterized 2s on the board. Long enough around, however. WASD do have the Cauterized 2s online as well, so not too much of an item lead here for GankStars, but they do have the momentum on their side. Not really much of an ultimate lead either way. WASD almost ready to be sitting on 3 ultimates, just shy there on the Dread Serpent as well as the Hexfire. Mutustiina, need to see him go big with this Headhunter because like we mentioned in the previous round, wasn't getting pressured out a ton, was alive for at the end of a lot of those exchanges we found, but it just wasn't finding the frags, and maybe that's just him just trying to be careful about how he approaches his fight, not wanting to put himself in a bad spot.
He's definitely going to be the center of attention here for Androxus.
Transport already down?
Thiel can get away from the hook, but there's a Dread Serpent to try and mess things up. Spunkki goes in, and it will be SunCommander falling as a result of that, but Bonkar takes down Ruckus, meaning that the frontline advantage should be for WASD right now, but Thiel's still here. Great hook, and Spunkki goes down, and Laizy now landing onto Barrett will finish him as well.
And a lot of that comes down to, you saw Thiel come up to pressure out Mutustiina, gets unbelievable for Peel as well, and just holding this 2v1, giving his team the man advantage. GankStars easily win that fight with the man advantage, and then they collapse, clean it up, now in a 66% lead.
We're not seeing Ruckus, I think, have the type of impact that we've seen Bitey in North America have with Ruckus, especially this aerial assault. But Creatives looking to make a big impact, but because SunCommander goes in the Accursed Arm, finish him before the ultimate can be activated and gets the kill onto the sniper as well. SunCommander playing lights out here and looking to find it 3 for him in this fight.
They just didn't know. They just didn't listen. He was hidden right there. Beautiful ultimate from him, as well as the cleanup kill onto Spunkki. That's one of the things you kind of have to work into your game on Frogile as a flanker. When everyone can see you coming, you just gotta kind of hide and let them come to you sometimes.
And a lot of these point fights we watch sometimes end with the defending team giving up that push, but they take everything that GankStars has to do it, and then they're able to kind of zone away. At this point, it's the opposite. GankStars are zoning WASD. They're almost at 50% for this payload push, and barely 30 seconds have gone by. Dragon Punch still available. There's the Dread Serpent to try and disrupt some of this action. But Unbelievable looks kind of lost here by himself on an island.
Just trying to dissuade any follow-up, any support coming from Bird, and it looks like it had some dividends there. Thiel will go down in the back line, but Unbelievable goes down in the front line. That trade is going to be worth it for WASD because the respawn proximity is in their advantage. SunCommander staying off the map right now, actually in a little pocket, maybe trying to get back up once his Nether Step comes back off cooldown. He will be safe.
And he's still alive, ready to frag out. Has the Wrecker coming through and trying to just force Unbelievable out successfully. He will take that approach. Laizy with the direct rockets. A fire spit to possibly finish things off. 1 minute and 22 seconds left, but they may not need it. It's already going to be converted. And that is GankStars taking the first game in this set.
And that's exactly the start they're looking for this Premier Qualifiers. Frogile is always where they go to, not only against D69, but against pretty much anyone where they're looking to start with a strong foot. Unless they want to maybe save that map pick later in the series. How our map picks go is top seed will get a pick, then the lower seed gets a pick. And then from there on, it's loser's pick. So at that point, GankStars don't plan to be losing. But if they do, they could save Frogile, but not wanting to take any chances here. This is only a 3-game set.
Absolutely true. The scoreboards should be ready for us to take a look at and just kind of delve into some of the numbers that went on in this game. It was pretty obvious to most people watching that GankStars had a lot of control, and that's what we mentioned. Frog Isle allows the team to initially get control and just keep it, add to the momentum. And boy, oh boy, just a
4-10.
lot of damage there.
4-10 for Creative's Bomb King, getting pretty shut down there. That's kind of the name of the game, though. When you get 4-0'd, a lot of those stat lines aren't going to be looking too pretty. 12-5, though, 49,000 top on his team was Mutustiina's Kinessa. And it just, I feel not really a factor. Mutustiina played better than Creatives. I think Creatives was receiving a little bit more pressure than him, just flat out, plain and simple. Mutustiina wasn't putting himself in a spot to really get pressured out, or SunCommander would have had to really overextend, I think, to get after Mutu, and Creatives was in an easier spot to be picked off, and picked off 10 times he was.
Yeah, and again, you know, we see, I think, these team compositions sometimes switch and change dynamics based on how your core performs. I just think that GankStars had a stronger core there. The Inara, you know, having the Makoa, and then having the Saris there in combination. Just three very big ultimates, three very, very big, I think, control-oriented champions with a lot of heal and sustain. So when Jaguar falls, I wonder if the draft will change from a perspective of WASD to try and steal one of those away.
Probably not a ton. I think you would maybe want the Bomb King. I personally prefer Bomb King a little bit more than Drogoz on this map, just because a lot of the skybox, it's good around the point, but the rest of it is a little bit struggly for me in terms of the rooms are a lot smaller, and that's honestly where Bomb King lives.
Yeah.
He loves to go toe-to-toe.
Yes.
He is just a big bad math problem for a lot of people when it comes to that close quarter fighting.
And he is all about close quarter fighting. He's all about getting into Jaguar Falls and making it his home. That's where we have the next map, and that's where the champion draft will tell the tale. Who changes things up? WASD here with the first pick. GankStars now going to have to respond. Do they go Inara? Do they go Makoa? Saris, Drogoz, Bomb King. These are all things that they like, but no, they take the Ruckus, and that's surprising to me. I didn't see Kamkyer have the type of game that would make me think first pick Ruckus going into this.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for anyone on WSC to have that type of game when you're getting 4-0'd. Doesn't mean Ruckus isn't the right pick for them in particular. GankStars as well, taking it away from bonkar, which at the same time forcing him onto Inara is like not a great second option. So like we talk about often, you can't, like D69, GankStars, and even WASD now is getting to that point where you can't take enough away from them. You have to focus on whatever you want to do for your strategy. Bomb King Makoa, however, that's clear cut. That's, you know, clear cut, I think, what I just said, right? You know, Makoa, not the top of the meta for a lot of teams, but that is GankStar's strategy. They're not looking to take away from you. They don't really care about what you're doing. This is what we're doing. We're going to beat you with this right here.
And that's what works. Makoa. I mean, it works for them. That's what they've continued to do. WSD maybe trying to follow suit there, but again, the Inara Saris come through on their end. I like that a lot more. But Barrick, I think, just incredibly better on Jaguar Falls, on Serpent Beach, than he is on Frog Isle in particular, because he's not as vulnerable to that above him pressure, which I think Drogoz can bring to a Barrick on Frog Isle.
And Jirox's Drogoz, strong way to round out this draft, however, for WASD. The Andro, very good on Jaguar, clean and simple, as well as having that on your team, just so GankStars can't have it for the Drogoz, but they will just go to the Lex, which is almost as good, especially when your shot is as crispy as SunCommander's. Yeah,
crispy shot's going to have Drogoz running away in fear in the air, so he's going to have to be careful about where he approaches it. I would not be one to count out Mutustiina's Drogoz, though. He is a highlight reel if I've ever seen one. So let's see how he takes to the skies. He might be on Andro, though. He could be as well. It does. We don't know. I mean, we could see Creatives on Andro, and we will. And that will be Godslayer as his legendary for Creatives. Combustible Drogoz for Mutustiina. A very meta choice right now. Mortal Reach for Spunkki Saris. Aerial Assault for Kamkyer's Ruckus. And Mother's Grace for Unbelievable Inara.
GankStars up 1-0 of Ripened Gourd on Maldamba, played by Bird. Architectonics for Bonkars at Barrick. Laizy will be on Accelerant Bomb King this time around. Thiel will be on Pluck Makoa, as he always is, and Death Hastens for SunCommander's Lex.
It's a nice bit of combination, I think, looking at this draft. You mentioned it, WASD, for me, have the better end going forward, but it is going to be determined how well does SunCommander and Creatives fight against one another. What is the kind of dynamic that those two create? What's the story that will be told between their duels today?
Both teams coming out strong here, looking to get set up, but getting aggressed on early. Kamkyer already sitting about half health. Those Barrick turrets will really sneak up on you. The damage they output over time is pretty astronomical. 27% already on the point for WSD. No first bloods given just yet.
Just now, though, Laizy comes in, and you mentioned how he loves it when people clump up in these corridors, and that gives him the first blood. Grumpy Bomb is available as well, but that's just a wall. Unbelievable decides to turn around and try to throw away a flanking Thiel with that Cosmic Mastery skin, just using his emote to peer around the corner and see if anyone is approaching.
Just one pick. That's all it really took there. SunCommander does fine well. Look at those, are nice. Those are the mastery guns there for Lex. Loving those customization options. 72% for GankStars on the point. However, WSD need to make a move, and soon. Looks like Ruckus might just like to ignore SunCommander here and head straight to the point. But it's going to cost him a lot of health.
Absolutely nothing he can do, just gets wrecked. And this is great placement by SunCommander. Now he's already forced Mutustiina out of the fight. They're not going to have any Drogo's pressure from the sky. And Laizy on a 6 streak, well, that just tells you the story. He's had the better end of this point fight for sure. And GankStars yet again will capture the first objective and start to push this home.
Just gonna put some poke onto that Ruckus as well. We'll find 2 shots on him, and you know, that's WSD's prerogative at that point in the game. No one's stepping out of line for GankStars at that point, especially not on a Lex where you're not really rewarded for doing so anyway. SunCommander's playing safe, Laizy's playing safe. They're just waiting for you to come to them. You know, Kamkyer tries to get in there with the Ruckus, but it costs him 75% of his HP just to get that overtime contest.
Look at this. Bird just he gets the stun. Oh, back in the farthest ends of the map, he gets the stun onto Ruckus, and that's what Maldamba can bring. He's got so many tools to use. The highest level players, they know when and how to use those tools effectively. They make the right decisions. Bird just trying to set up a play, and he doesn't need any more setup than that. Makoa does the rest. Thiel's going to put Kamkyer in a bad spot, and Hi-Rez, thankfully, not built up enough to stop his healing from Sarah.
Thiel's getting pretty low. Doesn't get the shell shield off. In fact, Creatives will take him down. Dome shield comes out from bonkar, trying to establish a foothold, but Creatives with a triple kill in the back line leaves bonkar out to dry. He's going to rocket boots up there onto the high ground, but he is fighting for a lost cause.
Wow.
SunCommander gets picked off as well. Creatives with all 5 kills in that engagement on a rampage.
On a 5 streak, get wrecked is the gun. Get wrecked is an appropriate saying for what just happened. Creatives coming through big on the flank play and just finishing off the kills like Androxus loves to do. Minute and 2 seconds now, and that leaves WASD with kind of one of the first footholds in defense that they've had in this entire set. Can they keep it going, though?
You know, sort of a double-edged sword. You know, you kill all of GankStars, but at the same time, you send them back to base to spend their 300 credits. So now they're coming back into this engagement, maybe even with Hi-Rez too, which could be just what they needed. Look at that. Is that the Mastery Fire Spit? Looking real good there. I didn't even know that changed.
And that is a beautiful looking piece of weaponry. But it's also a very good point that you make. The Hi-Rez not being effective is enough. That 30% from 60% now could have been the difference between Kamkyer staying alive after that Sarah's heal or not. And I think the fact that they had both frontliners there gave Creatives the space he needed to get all 5 kills. If something like that goes down again, not sure WSD will be able to make it out alive. bonkar, though, with the convergence coming out from Saris, gets taken down.
Ton of damage. 12 seconds remain here. Laizy looking for it, but a big reversal could come through here. Nice time shot. Puts Creatives in a bad spot. Laizy still pretty healthy here, but yet to find any frags.
Great stuff by Creatives. Just hides right behind that wall because it's a very difficult angle to slope and explode those bombs with the fall off that they've had. There's the ultimate. The Law comes through and takes down Unbelievable. One tank out of the picture, and Kamkyer goes down as well thanks to Thiel. This is what WASD were worried about. This is what GankStars are so good at. They get one clutch play, and they're able to turn a 1-0 stall push into a 2-0.
You give them an inch, and they didn't really give them an inch there. They took an inch and then made it a mile. Seismic Crash comes through. A lot of crowd control, trying to stave off this aggression from the GankStars. Defense successfully off the back of a gorgeous wall.
Well, I don't think anyone anticipated that. What a great recovery by WASD. Marked the moment of change for me. The Seismic Crash, he goes into the CC immunity of that ultimate when he's about to get stunned by Laizy. And Laizy, expecting to follow up off the stunned opponents, actually gets stunned himself, gets taken down. Thiel ults, but steps away from the payload, and that leaves them with no push.
It's a perfect response as well. SunCommander does land the Lex and the Law, excuse me. One thing I like from him, you know, it was one thing at the Masters LAN. Everybody was kind of afraid to use that ultimate for whatever reason. You know, partially because Lex was a newer character back then, but just not afraid to get one kill with it.
Sure.
And, you know, one is better than nothing. I love SunCommander as consistently landing this ultimate when he gets the chance to play the character. Not a super commonplace pick in these engagements, but everything tied up in terms of the items. Not a huge lead either way.
There's no shield. There's no shield. Actually, the only thing that could block that is Inara's wall if it just blocks the vision on it, but it's just going to be so free for him. If he ever sees Inara under 50% health, he could just use it as a Dragon Punch and take her down. As she goes down here to Laizy and bonkar, they're just dominating these corridors. Double kill for Laizy, looking for the trip, but doesn't need it. SunCommander cleans up the rest.
That's why I like Bomb King better than Drogo's on this map, right there. Just Laizy gets a little bit of momentum, and he does this kind of on every map, but that's because he's lazy. But on this map in particular, a lot of Bomb King players, you get a little bit bit of momentum, and they just steamroll through your entire backline. There's nowhere to run, nowhere really to hide from the king, and this is why we don't see him having to dive anywhere or do anything fancy. He just stays in these rooms and he just blasts through everyone. Needs to be careful of that Godslayer reversal though. He'll make it out alive.
There's a Hexafire from the Ruckus, but on the wall, Kamkyer just shoots it into a 20,000 health shield. Not going to help you there, buddy. Mutustiina in the air though does take down SunCommander, so no law in this fight. A combustible here, pressuring out bonkar on the turrets, but he's actually going to be healed up by those turrets as well. That health coming back from the regen of standing near them will help to keep him and his team alive. GankStars 99%, trying to make it a 2-1 lead here.
Uh-oh, getting a lot of free damage, and this is just Bomb King on this map right now. Laizy's still not under a lot of pressure, and there's no one really great to do it. It's got to be maybe creatives on this, and Drox is finding some type of pick, some type of leeway for his team to break and enter into this point zone, because right now they're just having a tough time cracking it.
They really are. Creatives get not on a streak at all, and you can tell neither is SunCommander. So these two, you know, had their moments. SunCommander with some really good ultimates to turn the tide of the fight. He's got the law yet again. Unbelievables has to be careful here. But, you know, Creatives had his moment as well. Who's going to step up as a flank pressure, win that duel consistently, and really help swing the tide for their team? That's the question we need answered. Right now, bonkar doing so much work on this Baron.
It's tough as a flanker, you know, double front liner with a healer. Cauterize 3 is not online yet. It is very difficult to find those angles. It's very difficult to get that pick, especially when Bird and Spunkki are going to be so hyper aware of everyone's HP pools. One headshot followed up with another nice one to the body, and SunCommander will take down Creatives, opening up a great potential push.
Well, if that didn't answer the question, I don't know what else will. It seems like Inara is very close to falling as well. They may not need the law here, but they will use it as a last resort if needed. Not going to have to use the ultimate going into this push. Now the Godslayer coming through will take down Laizy in one single shot. Sometimes that just happens.
Himself.
Great Dread Serpent though by
Laizy
Bird.
fed that one all by himself. Nobody to blame but himself.
It is. That's true. But that was a great Dread Serpent by Bird as well.
Beautiful.
I mean, the fear means that he's going to have to run away, and that means he cannot contest the payload. That's just a free capture. Bird, by saving that ultimate towards the later stages of that fight, guaranteed them the point.
And they still have plenty more left in the tank. King Bomb, Ancient Rays, the Law, Dome Shield as well. Everyone's ready to go there and just put themselves in the same spot as WASD. They don't know that. Obviously, GankStars aren't aware of the exact ultimate percentage that WASD are at, but we can see from that spectator client that they have everything except Hexafire ready to go here. Creatives, can he step up? I mean, you hit the nail on the head. SunCommander finds that one pick in the backline, and that is the end of the round. Everything snowballs from there. Big key note here is that no cauterized 3s on WASD, whereas we have 3 for the GankStars.
Now, Inara, although she does not have debuff immunity anymore, she has the ability to heal 60% more, and that means that she's going to be able to receive quite a bit from the healing, even though Cauterize will be applied. So it won't affect her as much, but Laizy, not playing too hot there with that ultimate, but doesn't necessarily need it. The wall may be his only friend here, because as they step anywhere near the convergence, they all go down, and that is a full wipe for WASD. GankStars really need to come back.
Laizy missed his ultimate so bad, he's the only one still alive.
That's why he was being safe. It was a preemptive play.
Calculated.
Yeah.
But now he's spotted out by Creatives. Going to be under some pressure, I would imagine. I mean, this is kind of a free-ish pick. I would have liked to see WAC capitalize on, but Laizy turns that passiveness against them, uses his aggression, turns it into a 4v5 for his team.
Grumpy Bomb going to be stunning anyone out behind him, and actually Mutustiina will probably, he will escape. No stun going on to him as well. Salvo primed, ready to go. 30% on the ultimate. Hits Barrack. He's going to throw the turret up and force him out of there, although he's getting healed by Saris. They've got to get on to the point. WASD now conceding the pressure to GankStars, and Creatives has to win this duel. SunCommander looking to finish him off, goes into the solo ult, but dies thanks to Laizy.
That's all it takes. Their convergence does come out, pulls in Thiel. Is it going to be enough? 2 kills go that way immediately, so actually in favor of Thiel after he gets pulled in. Up and over the wall. One more clean bomb takes down Mutustiina. Unbelievable falls as well on the point. 81% and quickly closing the gap are the GankStars looking for their second win.
Spunkki simply emoting onto the objective. He knows it's just trickling in for his team. The shield to block the Godslayer, keep his teammates alive. What a selfless play, and what a great coordination of ultimates, and I believe just synergy coming out from everyone on that team. GankStars take the 2-0 over WASD.
Little things here. I mean, nothing really glaring that WASD does wrong. There's still a little bit ways to go, obviously, to close the gap on, you know, D69, GankStars. On a really good day, they can do it for sure, and that's what makes them such a great, you know, third-place team. Is they really demand that respect. There can be those days where they take games in full sets off D69 and the GankStars. Today was not one of those days. However, great games from bonkar, 76,000 damage, almost actually topping Laizy for top in the game there. And bonkar, he just does that, man, on these tanks. It's in his skin. He wants to be a flank. He wants to frag, but he's just stuck on this little dwarf with these stubby legs and a 13-second mobility cooldown.
That's right. And, you know, so much, I think, praised, in my opinion, to Laizy and bonkar for carrying the damage weight of that team. SunCommander, though, really for me, showed up big time. Creatives playing Androxus, not an easy matchup for Lex. He's got a lot more mobility, and he's got that reversal, which buys him time. Lex can really mess up and feed that with a big death hasten shot, but he did not win those duels.
Shoutouts to Thiel as well. 3 deaths on his Makoa, and I know that's something he's been working on personally, is not maybe walking instead of shell spinning. And making sure he's safe all the time. That was a big thing. I know that, you know, Bird was, you know, slapping him on the wrist for during scrims when we were kind of watching them during the Masters LAN. Was he just almost, and he admits to it. It was, you know, I shell spin when I could be walking, and it puts me in a bad spot sometimes. So working on getting that death count down is going to be huge for GankStars as a whole.
Waiting to see how these teams develop. That's what you're going to have to see when you watch the summer premiere. They'll be facing off again, but that will be the end of this first set for the day. We're going to go on a quick break, and we'll be right back with set number 2. See some more Paladins action here for the summer premiere.